Chapter 31, Conundrum. "Stop! Stop!" yelled Sven. Jason glowered. "What?" "I said to get that shit out of here. If I see another fancy-ass spin, I'll fucking demote you back to Group A," Sven said with a tone that would take no nonsense. Kai snickered off to the side. He was sitting on the ground watching Sven and the newly moved-up Jason spar. There was some satisfaction seeing the noble brat getting his ass handed to him. Nicholas likewise had a small smile, sitting next to Kai, watching the fight. A short 2 months had passed since his visit to the church and blacksmith. Kai had received word his armor would be ready within the week. During these 2 months, he had grown very little. There had been 2 more expeditions for the field training class, during which he gained a whole whopping 6 levels. 3 from the first trip, 2 from the second, and 1 additional level out of the blue. It had become something of competition amongst his group to secure kills. He had put 10 stat points into strength and intelligence each. With his intelligence now being 50 total, his gravity magic should theoretically be able to increase the gravity of an area by 100%, if what Nock told him was true. This would essentially make the weight of his opponents double. He split his 10 remaining points into endurance and wisdom, giving him a minor boost. The second and third field expeditions had been uninspiring. Nothing much had happened besides slaying a few weak monsters. His group did come across something in the forging stage again, and though it had been weaker than the Grove Panther, the instructor ended up assisting the group in killing, since there was still no teamwork or unity in Group 2. After the first expedition, there had been a lot of backlash from parents who heard about the incident regarding the student dying. It had even reached the level of the king who had ruled the policy was inane and detrimental to the growing leaders of the country. The headmistress had been silently punished, but had been allowed to keep her position. The instructor had not been punished since he had been following the commands of his superior. The academy, which had a mostly shining reputation, had suffered at the hands of one bad decision. Both should have been fired in Kai's mind, but the headmistress likely had connections and influence. Looking at Nicholas, the large young man had grown even more than him in the past few months. Human forging level 19. Their group appeared to be having quite a lot of success finding monsters during the trips. "I've heard you guys are having trouble in your group," Nicholas spoke to Kai, his eyes not moving off the fight. "Yay," Kai said deponently. "Why not just go deeper into the forest?" Kai sighed. "There is absolutely no coordination between the people in my group, so challenging stronger monsters isn't an option. We won't get any levels if the instructor has to intervene in every fight because of the lack of teamwork." "I guess that's true," Nicholas said. "Listen, Kai, there is something I'd like to discuss with you." "Shoot." "Shoot." Nicholas tilted his head in confusion. "Oh, it means to go on. Like proceed with what you were going to ask," Kai said. "That must be a saying from my past life that didn't keep." Kai squeezed his eyes, annoyed at his blunder. Nicholas took in a deep breath. "Right. Do you fancy Ashley?" His tone was hesitant. Nicholas seemed downright uncomfortable asking. His mouth was a thin line as he clenched his jaw. "Wait, fancy?" Kai couldn't help it. He started laughing, drawing attention from the people around him, including the still dueling Jason, who got smacked good for his distraction. Nicholas looked downright embarrassed. "No," Kai chuckled. "I'm not interested in Ashley. Why do you ask?" No reason. Just wondering," Nicholas said, lying badly. "Could it be you like Ashley?" Kai covered his grin as he spoke in a light-hearted tone. "Feels like my adolescent years all over again." "Wait, crap, I am an adolescent." Kai pinched the bridge of his nose for a second, freezing slightly at what he heard next. "No," Nicholas squeaked in a high pitch. "I mean no, she's great, but I don't like her like that." Nicholas was covering his face with his hands. Kai thought it strange. Nicholas's voice sounded slightly fearful when he answered, but it could have been nervousness to admit he liked her. "Why did you ask me then?" Kai questioned. Nicholas remained silent for a minute. "She wanted to know what you thought of her." Kai shrugged. "It's not like I know her well. She's pretty and has been kind to me, but I feel like she has an agenda. I simply can't trust her. And she's too young." "She's technically not a noble," Nicholas said. Kai whipped his head, looking at the prince in question. "I told you, Ashley and her father have a special status in the Ashbourne Kingdom. That status is an authority granted by my father the king to her family, which to my knowledge is only her and her grandfather. Her grandfather, the sole emperor, is an old friend of my father's. He brought his newborn granddaughter Ashley to live here. For whatever reason, my father gave them special status. They don't have to answer to no one in the kingdom except my father, Nicholas explained. Sole Emperor. That's quite a title, Kai remarked. He is supposedly the strongest soul mage amongst humans. Ashley wouldn't tell me what stage he is in, only that he was stronger than my father. Okay, Kai dragged out. What does that have to do with me? Why would she be asking if I like her? I don't know, man. You're a good-looking enough guy. He gave a pointed look at Kai, as if telling him not to let it get to his head. But you are nothing special as you are right now. There are plenty of other good-looking guys across the kingdom with actual status and power. Like you? Kai asked. My father, with what little life he has left, would love for Ashley and me to marry in order to physically tie her and her grandfather to the Ashbourne Kingdom, but she doesn't like me like that. I'm more of a toy for her to play with. Nicholas shivered slightly. When she received her soul magic, she would poke and prod my soul, teasing me. Did you have your magic yet? Kai asked. No, I was still considered a mortal, not yet 16. She's a month older than me. I thought it was illegal to attack mortals if you had magic. It is, but who's going to tell the soul princess what she can and can't do? Poor guy. I would have told my father had I not already known that he would tell me to suck it up, Nicholas lamented. He looked on the verge of tears, remembering the pain that Ashley had tormented him with. It's not like she was doing permanent damage to my soul, or so she claimed. Kai's eyes were wide with concern. I'm not a foremost expert on the soul, but I don't think damage to the soul is a good thing. He spoke with growing distress. She wasn't being malicious. I think, in any case, I'm fine. Her grandfather would always check up on me and confirmed everything was good. If you say so, Kai gave a pat on the back to the glum-looking prince. The 4 roommates and Akane were having dinner in the cafeteria. Akane's tail swished in the air happily as she devoured her dessert. No one bothered to compete with the fox anymore in an eating contest, though she still received the odd glance from the other students. Heard you've been getting pretty chummy with the prince, remarked Andre. Grunting, Kai kept his focus on his food. At least his majesty still deigns to eat with us lowly peasants, teased Hector. Ha ha, Kai laughed dryly. I apologize, your majesty. One of us should have tested your food for poison beforehand. If looks could kill, his majesty would have us hung in the gallows, joked the quiet Sean. True to his word, Kai gave them each a glare that promised retribution. Kai, I heard from Nock everything will be ready tomorrow. Do you want me to come with you? Andre said, changing the subject. Kai's whipped his head up to make sure Andre wasn't messing with him. There was no indication on Andre's face that he was joking. Kai mentally fist-pumped. I'll be fine. I think I can manage to find my way there, Kai said, smiling. Akane yapped once, drawing the attention of the students around them. Although it was less than usual, most of the students had gotten used to her antics. Akane had become very popular amongst the ladies in the academy who always asked to hold her. She enjoyed basking in the attention. Seeing her plate empty, Kai went to go fill it up. On his way back, he heard his roommates discussing what to do for the rest of the evening. I'm free of obligations for my lord tonight. It's rare the 5 of us are available for once. Hector spoke to the group, giving Akane credit when he noticed her scowl at him. What can we do? Sean asked. Well, there is the common area, where many students hang out, and the training areas are still open for a few more hours, Kai answered. Leaning in, Guys, let's go out and pick up girls, Andre whispered excitedly. Awkward looks were exchanged between the group. I actually have a girlfriend already, Hector spoke up. Andre looked at the traitor, disbelief written across his face. He looked to the other two, a small smidgen of hope in his eyes. Not interested, Kai denied flatly. He had no interest in becoming distracted by girls at this time. Ashley flirting with him all the time was enough of a hassle. Never talk to a girl, Sean said, looking down at the table. Defeated, Andre's head fell onto the table's surface. Silent sobs whacked his body. How about we spar a little, Kai said. With magic, he added. Boo, Andre jeered. He's always training, Hector said. Come on, we are at an academy to learn magic and how to fight. Shouldn't we be taking advantage of that? Yes, Kai, but not everyone is in such a rush like you, Andre pointed out. Maybe he has a point. Leaning in, Hector whispered, I've heard rumors of a possible civil war in the near future. What? Andre yelled. Shh, Hector quieted him. A few people were staring at their group, but most had gone back to their own business. How do you know this? Sean leaned in, interested. My lord told me. There have been rumors of discontent among the nobility about the first prince inheriting the throne upon the king's death. The first prince is something of a buffoon, and not even close to the power of his father. But the third is rumored to be near the king's power and is popular among the nobility. The nobility desires a strong leader, especially since we are in an ongoing war. And that's not even politics, that's just inheritance. Sounds like a pain, though. I'll have to ask Nicholas his opinion. About the war, why doesn't one side just hire powerful mercenaries to fight on their behalf? Kai asked. It was something he thought about. Beyond the Ashbourne kingdom, there were bound to be plenty of very powerful individuals that could end the war in days if they choose to. Why didn't the king just hire a few of them to fight? Sean quietly observed the conversation with interest. There are actually more issues with that idea than you would think. I mean, just imagine you invite a foreign entity to your kingdom. Who could control such an individual? There is also the issue of payment. I can't even imagine the amount of platinum or items it would cost to hire someone of that caliber. And once one side hires someone like that, so will the other. Then no one wins, Hector said softly. Wait, what about the sole emperor? He has been in the kingdom for a while now, Andre asked. As far as I know, he hasn't made any move to join the war. There is no reason to think he will now, Hector said. The next few minutes were spent between Andre and Hector, discussing how a civil war would impact the kingdom. After a while, Kai got tired of the conversation. Guys, we have lost sight of the original question. What are we doing to do tonight? All he received as silent shrugs.